Hello. Welcome to the Tennessee Williams Museum.
And what's your name? I'm Ed.
I'm Dennis, Ed. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm the curator here talking about Tennessee Williams and his life in Key West.
Great.
This is the front gift shop, and then the museum is in the back half of the building.
Oh, great. Now, how long has this place been here?
Well, the museum has been open for 14 years. In this building, we've only been a little over 11.
Okay.
The idea that we cannot have the museum in the Tennessee Williams home because it is a private residence and it's in a very inaccessible area for the city.
Oh, great.
The fact that we are the largest collection of photographs and memorabilia on permanent exhibition anywhere in the country makes this a very important archival and informational museum.
And this is right in the heart of Key West.
Yes, we're just a half a block off of Duval Street on US 1, which goes all the way from Key West to Bangor, Maine. So it's a very good location. We are visited by visitors from all over the world. Our registration book has people from just about every country in the world.
And as I'm talking to you, I see you on the video behind me because this is kind of an orientation. So when people first come,
Yes,
they kind of know what to look at.
To let them know how important Tennessee was. He lived here for over 35 years in the same house. He was here with his partner Frank for 14 and a half years before his partner Frank died of lung cancer.
Okay.
So Tennessee, we can honestly say, did most of his writing while living in Key West.
Yeah.
The main part of the exhibit talks about everything from all the famous people that knew Tennessee and wanted to be in his next movie or play. We also have one of his typewriters that we have actually documented that he used this typewriter while living in Key West. A collection of awards that his writing won. 2 Pulitzer Prizes before the age of 50. He won the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest honor any American can win outside the military. Also the Kennedy Honors. Tennessee is considered the most prolifically published writer in America. The fact that he is still taught in schools across the country attributes to the fact that he is so popular and part of the education system.
You know, in the background, I see. You know, this is not, as you mentioned, this is not Tennessee Williams' house, but you have an amazing replication of his house here.
We're very fortunate in the fact that the owners of his home had the fundraiser there at the house to raise money to build the model. This is an exact replica of the house when Tennessee lived in it in 1951. He actually bought the house in 49, but in 1951 he put the swimming pool in. And we wanted to be sure to get that in the model because that was one of the main reasons Tennessee moved to Key West. When you look inside his writing studio, which he called the Madhouse, it's almost like looking back in time. There he is sitting at his desk.
Oh, there he is.
Sitting at his desk.
Oh yeah, there's a good view right through
He called it his picnic table desk, wearing his Greek fisherman's cap. There's even a rooster sitting on the table.
Wow, that's cool.
The artist who did this, Jane Carper, is a local well-known artist, and she actually melted the glass to replicate the stained glass window in the kitchen that Tennessee had brought from New Orleans.
Oh, I see. Beautiful.
Now, Tennessee started visiting Key West in 1941. He rented this house in 48, and then he actually bought it in 1949, and lived here till his death in 1983.
Of course, the other famous author is Ernest Hemingway.
Who? Yes, Hemingway.
And his house is just a couple blocks from here.
One block away.
So if people are going to the Hemingway house anyway, this is an easy.
Absolutely. Come here and they'll enjoy themselves a lot. We have no cats running around, which makes it more sanitary. The fact that Hemingway only lived here for 6 years, and he never met Tennessee while in Key West. He and Pauline divorced in 1941, and that's the first year Tennessee visited Key West. And of course, he was a struggling young writer, so he did not know The Rich Woman on the Hill. It was only later, after his successes on Broadway, Glass Menagerie and Streetcar Named Desire, that he did get to know Pauline. And he never met, Tennessee never met Hemingway in Key West They did several years later, I believe it was in the early 70s, they did meet in Havana, Cuba.
And that was just like for a drink or something?
At a drink at a bar, and Tennessee later said they really had nothing in common and nothing to talk about.
Okay. And now for the rest of the exhibit here, we see, we see there's a lot of, what's great about this museum, there's a lot of clips playing some of his plays that were made into movies.
Well, in one of the many interviews, Tennessee was asked, what is your favorite movie made it out of your plays? And he thought for a minute, and he said, well, the public usually says Cat on the Hot Tin Roof, so I guess that would be my choice also. And the fact that he loved Elizabeth Taylor, he said she could play anything from a queen to a housekeeper.
Okay.
So we have that playing all the time. We usually have a little bit of The Rose Tattoo playing also, because that, of course, is the movie that put Key West on the map in the theater industry, because he wrote the whole play about Key West. And when it was opened on Broadway in 1951, it won all the awards. And of course, they later made a movie out of it.
You know, as I'm talking to you, my eye is drawn to over here, because this is a famous photo of Tennessee in the wicker chair.
Yes.
What's the story with that?
Well, Tennessee, this whole wall of the museum is dedicated to Tennessee in Key West. And so he loved being photographed in this Empress chair or Queen chair, whatever you want to call it. You'll see it in numerous photographs and advertisements. He also loved wearing his Greek fisherman's cap. He considered that his style.
There it is. There's what his cap would look like. I assume that's not an original that you're just laying out there.
We keep it here so that
people can try it on. If people could try it on, you don't have to worry about someone stealing a priceless artifact.
I think the fact that every photograph in the exhibit has a story, and when I do tours, they usually get lots of questions about this photograph or that photograph. I think this is one of the most interesting and unusual, the fact that Tennessee's wearing a raccoon coat in Key West. That's on Duval Street. It was considered the coldest day in the history of Key West, 1941. I mean, excuse me, in 19... okay, it was
1981.
1981, and it was 41 degrees for 3 hours.
Oh my God.
And he is wearing the Greek fisherman's cap there also.
So, I'm sorry, was this chair actually the one he sat on?
No, it isn't. It was in his house for many years. We don't know. Of course, when he died in 1983, the house was sold very quickly to a corporation from New Jersey to use as a corporate retreat. Well, they used it for about 10 years, and then it sat empty. So we don't know what happened to the furnishings then. However, when the new owners, the current owners bought it, the chair was in the house. So we can't document it as saying it was his chair, but it's one just like what he would have had.
And this museum documents his life, but also his death. I saw around the corner. I didn't really realize that this was a controversy about that. I see this article about was Tennessee murdered.
You can go online and read 7 different versions of what killed Tennessee Williams. Of course, the fact we have the autopsy report, the medical examiner's report, and the police report, and the fact they're all different is very unusual. It's amazing to think that it took 2 years to determine the actual cause of death. It took 8 years to settle his estate. So there's been a lot of controversy and a lot of things printed that we all know. Once it's been printed and put on the internet, it's there forever.
Yeah, and I saw this article, it says from his brother who believes his brother was murdered.
The brother was contesting the will. Tennessee left him $25,000. Well, Tennessee did not like his brother, and he's lucky that he got that. But by contesting the will, he received an additional $100,000. The brother was convinced that Tennessee was murdered because Tennessee had just come back from London to change his will. And by changing his will, Dakin, the brother, felt that Tennessee had been murdered by the person Tennessee was taking out of his will. He died the day before he was to meet the attorney.
Okay.
We have over 20 letters from the chief of police, and the last one stating the fact that it is a closed case, that it's been definitely determined it was an accidental overdose of sleeping pills.
Okay.
not suicide, not murder, not choking to death.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time. And this is, well, this is a really short video, obviously, but there's so much more to see than we can really touched on it. So this is,
I hope it's a teaser enough that everybody will want to come when they come to Key West.
Now, I've been here, I have to tell you, I've been here several times, and I always see something new that I hadn't seen before. And it's an absolute must for anybody to visit.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.